people really love to buy stuff, but you have to convince them that your stuff, what you're selling is the value that you give is way more than the price. Okay. It's never about the price. It's always the emotion attached to the value that they will get with this product.
We all agree on this. People love to buy, they hate being sold. And that's the whole premise of today's episode. My guest is the one and only Angelo Ferraro. He went from being an engineer at BMW to a backend funnel architect after 2 serious wake-up calls. Now he runs the machine behind the buy button, bump offers, upsells, abandoned carts, and subscriptions. Today he tells you why your price was never really the price and why a 2-minute phone call recovers deals email never will. If you build funnels, sell anything online, or you think your job is AI proof, then this episode is for you. And before we get into it, please do me a favor, follow the show, give this episode a like, and leave a comment. Now, if you're sitting relaxed, if you're at the gym, pick up the pace because this episode will change how you think about every price tag you've ever written. I'm your host, Shmuel Hirschberg, and this is the Built to Scale podcast. Listen up and let's start scaling now. Angelo, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And for inviting me to your podcast is such an honor, really.
When did you come into the direct response marketing space?
Just right before the COVID, so 2020, that I decided to completely change my life because I was an engineer. Well, I'm still an engineer, so but I work as an engineer in a BMW, and then COVID. Then well, it's a story, but and then I changed life, and then a shift in. Yeah.
That is a story. An engineer for BMW. So you're Italian, but you're
Yes.
working for a German automaker. Ferrari and Lamborghini, that wasn't for you. You wanted to go BMW,
I,
but then something switched.
yes. I really believe that in life nothing happened casual, so everything is connected. And it was a period that was happening something to me that made me understand that this was not my path. And some episode happened that was really traumatic for me. And then the COVID appeared, and then I say, okay, this is the right time to change life, completely life. But it's not easy. It's not easy to take a life-changing decision when you study a lot, because I study a lot for be engineer. I have a lot of experience as site manager, so it's not easy to suddenly like this change job and find a well-paid job, you know?
Mhm.
So
For
actually,
sure. Was it the stress?
was
Like what was it about being an engineer or at that moment in your life that you decided, you know what, it's time for a change?
so what's a combination of stress? So at the beginning was especially when you do a job that require your physical presence anywhere. Okay, any kind of job that require your physical presence, you realize that you will miss a lot of important thing in your life. For example, important thing with your family, because I really believe on family, and for me it's very important. So happen a lot of time that I need to sacrifice a lot of quality time with them for my job. But this is, handable because you say, okay, I will do for a period and that's it. Then I will recover after. But then a couple of accidents happened, a life-threatening accident, but not for my fault, for a distraction of other guys.
Okay.
And then I realized after the second accident, I say, okay, I will not wait at the third one that I will die. So I say, okay, this is my wake up call for say, okay, I need to change job, and is what I do actually.
Wow. That's powerful. That's really powerful. Yeah, and I appreciate you opening up about this a little bit and sharing this with the audience because it's probably not easy, and especially going through it, that potentially talking about it. Uh, but then you decide you're gonna, stop in your tracks, and where do you go from there? Right, right. You studied so much, you worked so hard to build this career and this lifestyle. We talk about scaling businesses and we're going to get to that, right? But ultimately, at the end of the day, we're people, right? And we're, a lot of us, especially in our industry, including myself, we're proud family people, right? And we value that. We value the personal time. And I would venture to say more than the professional time. And I hope that doesn't get me into trouble with anyone, but that's the truth, right? Um, you know, family is the number one priority, right? So you've worked so hard to provide for them, right, and to prepare for that, and then you decide, all right, stop. So where do you go from there? How did you pivot? Pivot's like a big word. So how did you pivot?
Again, it was not easy because it's not easy nowadays to find quickly another job well paid, like in weeks or months. Well, for me was not in my thoughts that something like this could be possible for me.
Hmm.
And we were talking about 2020, okay, so before AI, before everything. And I take a period like 6 to 9 months, I think, was like of like completely stop. Like I don't do anything basically. I do things for fun, but nothing really serious. I try also to do the career as professor in high school. I I like it, but I feel that was very limited there.
Hmm.
And then a friend of mine that basically we grow up together. So what take in my mind is that I do anything, everything, sorry, everything that people that my teacher teach me. Like you have to study, you have to do everything right, you have to take good notes, you need to take you have to take a good job. And is what I do, actually. But at the end, I don't like my life. Okay. Instead, this guy that was like we grew up together, he wasn't graduate, he didn't study years, but was more financially successful than me. And this guy worked for direct in the direct response marketing and affiliate marketing. I said to the guy, "Okay, teach me because you know something that I don't know because I do everything correctly, everything that people says to me that was the right thing to do. But I'm struggling with my job. I gain money, but not so much. This guy was already millionaire and had company. And I say, what? We grew up together. What was missing? you know?
Yeah.
And then I just start to work with this guy that is my friend. We still talk each other. We live in the same city as a video editor because it was a passion that I had. And then I just start to do video editing of ads and VSL. And then I start to see this world. I start to travel. I start to know people. And I opened my company that for me was like unthinkable to shift because for me it was like, oh, I need to just find a job. But now my mind is, okay, I build the company and I need to hire people. So
Wow.
yeah.
So how was that? How long was that like learning curve for you to get into the direct response space, helping people with their VSLs and ads until you actually went out on your own and started your own company?
So I think it was 2 years, 2.5 years that I work as an employee, basically. And then after this, so 3 years ago, that was more than 3 years ago. I start to have my own company and have this mind shift. But again, one thing that is very important is the people that you're surrounding with, because if you surround yourself with the right people, they open your mind. So
Absolutely.
you will start to think that something is possible for you too. Okay. And this is what helped me a lot. That's why I'm traveling a lot, even if it's very stressful. I try to be in every conference around the world, New York, Ibiza, Thailand, Vegas, Budapest, Bucharest. I try to do in every con because the people that I'm surrounding with is the one that empower me. So make me think that is possible for me something. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I forgot who said it, but there's this idea where you are basically like the average of your friends, right? So if you hang out with good people, right, and you'll be in that mix of those, whatever they stand for, whether it's in business, family values, all that kind of stuff. I think actually politics doesn't fit into that, but we'll leave politics out of it. But definitely, like in terms of if you hang out with a good group of business-minded people, right, and they're talking about business and they're doing good business and they're building companies, you'll have more success than if you just hang out doing up to no good and stuff. Chris Rock actually has a good bit about that, like, in terms of like neighborhoods and stuff, like what people are doing and stuff in neighborhoods, like how you know if it's a good neighborhood or a bad neighborhood. And it's a similar type of concept, like who you're hanging out with, that's that builds the community, whether it's, on the local level or, in our network and stuff.
It's very important. We are okay. We think that we can, our ego, no, suggest us that we can be like, we are the one, we can do it like this. But actually, staying close to people that are more successful than us make us more, like, give us idea, open our mind to more possibilities, you know?
For
So
sure.
that's
For
why
sure.
it's very important to hang out with the right people. And also is
Absolutely.
one thing that I always say to everyone now recently, because in this industry is sometimes people chase opportunities. Okay. So I will talk with this guy just because he have this company, have this thing. So if I work with this guy, I will have some profit. Okay. But instead, I'm very fan of this theory. Like, just focus on the vibes. Focus on the vibes with people, and then you talk about work together. Because sometimes you just chase the results, but your life is miserable.
Yeah, totally.
You chase just the guy because he have the millionaire company that if you close the deal with this guy, you will be rich too. But then you deal with a lot of other problem just because you deal with this guy. So or this guy screw you or so what I want to say to people that is listening is like focus on the vibes that people give to you, not just don't chase just the results, you know?
Yeah, the human
And I think
relationship.
that yes, yes. Because people
Hmm.
sometimes forgot about this. And it's not a way to for me it's not a way to really live our life if we live things separately. Like no, that doesn't work for me. I don't know if it makes
Awesome.
sense what I say.
No, it makes sense to me. I mean, it sounds like you have like a really good work-life balance, and you're very cognizant about who you're doing business with and how you're doing business,
Yes.
and making sure it doesn't envelope your whole life, and that you have time, even with your busy travel schedule, for your.
Yeah.
So let's pivot a little bit, and let's talk about actually business and what you are
Yeah.
doing and what your
Yes.
company does. So why don't you give us a little rundown?
So my personal company is Gold Angels Agency. Okay. We build funnel for company that have Nutra products or any kind of products basically that want to sell online, but Nutra is the one that is more popular. Now I'm also shifting on telehealth and like real medicine.
Mhm.
That actually is a quite a very good market. And I'm a business developer for another company that is called I Sell for You, which will deal with abandoned cart, welcome call, inbound call, cross selling. So we deal with all the backend part of a funnel because people usually new vendors that are making money are not aware that they can add layers on the funnel that generate money for them for free, basically email, SMS, call center, all kind of upsell. This improvement of backend is what overall will improve the funnel of the offers and we will make a lot of money for them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we always talk about lifetime value, and I recently had Tyler Ryan of Lifetime Numbers. Now it's called. There's a new name for it, so you'll have to look in the show notes and previous episodes for the name of Tyler's company. But lifetime value is a huge thing, and I think a lot of people, for me and for you, like this is just second nature in terms of like building up that initial value for the first time sale, and then having that lifetime value. But for a lot of people, especially our listeners, people that may have stumbled upon this, podcast, and they don't know too much about the direct response, digital, direct to consumer space. Why don't you walk us through about like an offer funnel? Like when someone goes through the funnel, they make that purchase, right? Tell us about all the stuff that the buyer doesn't really see until they actually until they actually buy, right? And then, all those upsells and the phone sales. Tell us about that and the psychology behind that, please.
So people need to know this. So people that are listening, people in general like to buy stuff, but they don't like to be sold. Okay, they don't like when people try to sell something to them. Okay, people in general don't like when people try to sell something, but they love to buy things. Okay, so you need to overcome this fear. That this fear is like an objection. So you have to make the sell very simple for them. Okay, the first sale. So, for example, a very successful funnel is to use something that is low cost. So people like buy the first product, they start to trust you, and then you heavily give value on bump sell and upsell. Okay, because once they are there, they say, "Okay, we are here. Let's buy other stuff." Okay, you really have to be aware that people love to buy stuff. People really love to buy stuff, but you have to convince them that your stuff, what you're selling is the value that you give is way more than the price. Okay. It's never about the price itself, the number. Okay. It's never $50, 100, 1,000, 10,000. It's never the, the money, the number. Is always the emotion attached to the value that they will get with this product. Okay. So when you focus on this, you can ask the right price. Okay. So people people buy product, okay, based on emotion, and then try to rationalize what they're buying. Okay.
Mhm.
So sales actually is very more emotional that we think. Okay, because we have, if we think about it, even us or people around us buy stuff even if they don't really need, and even if they don't have the money, just because of the emotion attached. How many people you know that buy the last phone even if they don't have money, just because it's a status,
Yeah.
it's not it's not really of the function, okay, the better camera, the better, I don't know, function. It's not this. It's just because of the status. It's the emotion behind it. Every sales that
So,
you
yes.
make with every product, you have to take this into consideration.
So you get them in on a low price, right? You get them in on an offer where, as Don Corleone would say, offer they can't refuse, right? And then they come in, they buy that. And then is that the end of the day? No, right? There's a lot more. I mean, we spoke about upsells, and then you're
No,
also
there is
talk.
depend depend of as I say, I build funnels. Okay, I build funnel for e-commerce, for nutra, for telehealth. Okay, for example, for e-commerce. So if you have a survival niche for pet niche, anything like this, it's good to have a first product that costs less, and then once they're in, you start to upsell things to them. Okay, is another kind of product for Nutra. So that usually age 40 plus people are interested in this. You can push a little bit, so 200, $300 for per sale. So you can push a little bit at the beginning, and then after you make an upsell or upsells after. For telehealth, for example, funnel, you don't have to convince people. People already know your product. They already know that they need your medicine, the
Yeah,
GLP-1, for example, or
for
the
sure.
recent peptide. They already know. You don't have to convince them. So the way that you structure the funnel is completely different. So is it? I answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, you basically, if I could just, kind of reflect back, you're basically saying like you have to be where the end user is in the mindset of the end user. So psychology plays such a big role here. It's like you said, in terms of telehealth, like you need to understand where they are.
Based on your product, based on the product you want to sell, you have to structure the funnel in a different way. And you always have to consider your ideal client. Okay, you have to be like him and start to think like him. Like how this person, how will be convinced to buy something. Okay. So is not just my product is the best product in the world. Okay, but the way that you say it, maybe the other guy didn't understand, your potential client didn't understand. So you have to say things, write things in a way that they understand. And this
Hmm.
seems a little thing, but make a huge difference in the way that you build the offer.
Yeah,
That
totally.
it's a
Totally.
base. It's a base thing, but people always forget this. They say, "Oh, I will do the best product and everything." Oh, wow, flashy. Yeah, this is the problem. Wow, buy it. Like, okay, but why? Or if you talk with a 50 years old guy or women, they are used to another kind of conversation, communication. So you have to consider this. If you talk with a 20 years old girl, they are like, now, results now. I want to be beautiful. I want to be rich. Yeah. You have to use the same language that they use.
Yeah. So then what happens? When does the funnel really end? Because like if someone goes to a landing page which has like a video sales letter or a text letter there or a kind of like a hybrid model, right? And then there's a checkout page, right? In your opinion, is that where this funnel ends or does the funnel continue afterwards?
No, this is the first step. This is the front end.
Okay.
The
So
front end stop there.
okay.
Okay.
So the funnel continues, right?
Of course. So so the structure is the ideal structure is ad, advertorial page or VSL page or TSL page, cart. Okay. And they buy.
Okay.
This is the first layer. Okay. The front end. After the first layer, we have and bump sell. Okay. We can just start some bump sell there. After this layer, we can add up the first upsell, very upsell. Okay. Because they are, they already spend money now. So they are ready to spend money again right away. Okay. So the first upsell is this. Okay. If they don't like the upsell, you can do a downsell with something smaller. Okay. Just for give something. After this, you can add more layer. Like, so after 2, 3 weeks, you can call them. And that's why I sell for you comes. So you can call them and say, "Oh, I see that you use the product. Are you okay? You're using it. Are you okay?" And people, when you call them, they feel loved. They feel, "Oh wow, there is someone behind this company. It's not just a random company in the web." So when they hear a human voice and a warm voice, they feel more like, "Oh wow, they care of me." So and then when they start to trust you, you can start to upsell other things to them and say, "Oh, you buy things about like brain fog. Oh, what do you think about this other product of energy overall?" And then you try to sell other product by phone. You can use SMS and email, but the conversion is very, very low. So when you said when you call, people says, "Oh wow, there is someone behind. So okay, let me buy this other product too." And actually the funnel never end because when this person buy, after 2, 3 months, you can start to sell another product, another product, another product. And there is people that stay with your brand for 2, 3 years, 4 years until I don't know. If they start to like
I
your
love
brand, they start even to buy product without that you call them. And at the end of the day is what depend on which business model you a person want to build. Because if you want to make fast money, it's another kind of business. If you want to make a lifetime value very big, so you want to make that every client that comes to you you can take the maximum economical advantage from them, you have to do this. You have to structure the funnel in this way. So people start to talk about your brand, so they will suggest this product to other person, and this is the way that you build your solid brand.
yeah, I love
So
that.
the funnel
Two
never
things that
end
you
actually.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love that. And two things that you said really stick out. The first thing is he said random. So like when you were talking about the person receives a phone call from you, he just thinks it's not some random guy. But what I'm thinking when you say random, I'm thinking to myself, this call is not random. It's not that one day you decided to pick up the phone and just say, all right, let's call this person and see how he's doing, right? That was baked into the funnel. And then the other thing that you said, the funnel never really ends. And when someone comes to your website and they see just that landing page, right? And they see, the checkout page, right? That's all they see. It's almost like they think that's the funnel, right? But it's almost like an iceberg. That's just a tip of what you could see. But there's so much embedded and so much
Yeah,
thought that you put into it that's, beneath the surface.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they
So
don't have to know. They don't have to know right away. Okay. They when they buy the
yeah,
first product, they don't know the universe behind it. But
for sure, for sure. So when you're talking about and getting people on the phone, how much effort does that take in terms of getting to people? Is it like one call, two calls, three calls? How much does it really take to start seeing a difference there?
you don't need a lot of time really. So people are so used to stay connected with phones and computers that a very short call of 1 minute, 2 minutes, maximum 5 minutes, it will remember you more than any funnels video that they see. When they call, when you call them and you ask if everything is okay, you don't have to stay there a lot of time. Maybe just even 1 minute. Okay. But that call is fundamental. So the very first, for example, what we do is like recover the abandoned cart. For example, they try to buy a product, but they reach the limit of the credit card. They wrong the code, the 3-digit code or 4-digit code for the credit card. They don't have money in the moment. They wrong credit card. Can happen anything. Okay, so when we call them like after 1 hour or half an hour and says, "Oh, what happened? Why you don't buy it?" Usually, like 25% of people buy back. You know,
Okay.
and after this, or a person that buy a product and then you just do a welcome call and says, "Oh, we see that you buy this product. Oh, congratulations! Like, oh, let me know if you need anything." And when they feel this, they really they really feel like, okay, there is someone behind it. Another tip I can give you, okay, in the for anyone that is having a funnel, even if you don't have a phone call center, sorry, even if you don't have a call center, put the number on on the funnel. Even if the number is doesn't answer and only answer on WhatsApp, people when they see a phone number, they feel more, oh, okay, it's something more solid. It's something more that I can trust. Even if you don't have the structure of the call center right away, people when they see a phone number, they don't call you. Okay, they don't call you, but they feel like more safe. It's the same formula. It's the same thing that 60-day money back guarantee. At the end of the day, maybe 5% of the people maximum they will ask the charge back the refund. Okay, but saying this formula make you a lot more sales than the one that will request the refund. So this small trick is what improve overall one funnel.
I love it.
So
It's
yeah,
that like mantra of like how can I improve today by
yeah,
1%, and then tomorrow, how can I
yes,
improve today by 1%? And it's that
easy,
compound interest that over
easy,
time, you just make like little
easy,
changes to your site and to your funnel.
easy,
All of a sudden, it's going to make a huge macro difference, right? So
easy.
if
If
we're
if you
looking at the pie, the life, if we're looking at let's say like the lifetime value pie, right? So what does that break down to from let's say that front end sale, which someone sees, to your order bump, right? To your upsells, to your downsales, to your phone calls. Like how would you divide that pie up? I'm just trying to get a sense of how much how much more revenue you're making because of phone sales and how much attribution that consists of. Because I really want to, screen this out to people that aren't doing this to realize how much money they're leaving on the table. So what does that pie look like?
so for example, just implementing the call center that you outsource for the call center. You maybe you're an entrepreneur, you don't have time to train your own people for have a call center. You outsource them. to our company, for example, and you can recover more or less between 8 to 12% of the gross revenue every month. You can increase just if you have this layer. Okay, bump offer. Well, really depend of the funnel, but like bump offer really doesn't cost you a lot. Maybe it's an ebook that you write with ChatGPT or a small product that costs you a few bucks. Really, with bump offer is the chewing gum that you buy when you are buy something in the store. You know, so it really
at the
doesn't
checkout,
cost you a
those
lot.
impulse buy.
It, yeah, you don't even know that you want it, but you see it and you say, "Okay, I buy it. It's like $9.
Has a
Okay, I'll
nice
buy it."
wrapper.
It's, yeah, you know, so it's very the margin on bump sell is huge, and doesn't
Okay.
cost you much effort to build bump offers. Okay, doesn't really require you a lot of time, but the margin that you have with bump offer is huge. Upsell,
Okay.
if you are not structured yet, you can just upsell the same product, for example. And this will spare you a lot of time. For example, there is vendors, offer owner that are just starting. They have only one product. Okay. And they don't have nothing to upsell. Just upsell the same product. Okay. And
So if
says,
it's like a
and you give,
supplement, offer them
yes,
a 3-month supply.
more, no, like 6 months supply, you offer another 9 months supply more just because
Okay.
the where the ingredient is very difficult to find, something like this. And you give a huge discount to this nine, to this other upsell, and usually people buy it. So
So you have to
it's a
you have
small
to be careful with that. A lot of people have been talking about this and stuff, just like how many supplements can you really sell? So that's something that I don't know if someone bought, let's say, 3 months. I don't know how much, if you could sell them another 9 months because that's like 12 months. And what's the life shelf on these things? And there's a lot of stuff that you need to be careful about. So I'm not sure if I'm not so sure about that, but definitely cross selling other products or potentially even just getting them on a subscription on.
even okay. So two things. For example, in telehealth, it's very complicated to do a lot of sales because of the expiration date of the medical thing. For example, the
Mhm.
GLP-1, I think that you cannot sell more than 1 year supply just because it expired, you know? For nutra, you can sell more, I think for more months. But anyway, it's something that you need to take care of. The concept that I want to say is that because you asked me about some tips of people 1% more that they can improve right now, is just create an upsell with the same product. Okay,
Yeah.
if you don't have the other product.
And in terms of just the
But so
question about what does that
yeah,
pie look like? I think you said it's just you could increase your sales by 10 to 12% with the phone sales, right?
so upsell
Is that
usually
it?
is upsell. If you create the upsell, even with the same offer, usually you increase by 22% of the
Okay.
revenue just because you put an upsell.
Okay.
With the abandoned cart, it's 8 to 12%.
But
Let
let's just look at the pie.
without yeah.
In terms of like dumb math, right? If we're looking at a pie or a chart, right? What percentage is the front sell? What percentage is the upsell? What percentage is the abandoned cart?
It really depends on the funnel and the offer. For example, I give you an example. I have one friend that have a survival niche offer. Okay, the very first product that he sell costs $10. Okay, $10. But the lifetime value of all the product is like $130 in the very first sale because he upsell a lot of other stuff in the same day. That at the end of the day, the lifetime value is $130. So in his case, the front end is there, and the the rest is 120. Okay, the back end. Okay, for example, yeah, there is other offer. For example, the Nutra is like 200 $180, $200 in the front end, and maybe in the back end is another 100 $150.
Okay.
In the
Yeah, I mean, so
telehealth, for the
that's really what I'm looking for to
yeah.
unpack here. So you're saying like in the survival niche, the front end offer, I mean, $10 and then you upsell them $130, average order
Yeah.
value.
Yeah.
That we're talking about 7%, 7.5% of that
Yeah.
total
Yeah.
pie that you're getting came from that front end offer, which is like nothing. So
Yes.
that's the top. That's the thing.
Yes.
So you can really increase your sales and your revenue by doing that. And then when we get over to Nutra, we're talking about like a 50-50, right? The front end
More or
offer
less. More or less.
more or
More or
less is
less. Yes.
50-50. And then you were saying in telehealth, it's going to be probably less, right? In terms of,
Tele Telehealth, what really work is not the front end or back end, is the subscription. Because, for example, GLP-1, okay, it costs maybe $250 per month in the front end, but actually it's a subscription. So you will take this medicine for 1 year or 2 years. So how you calculate the pie here? Okay. So
well, it's that subscription. So that subscription model is I would actually go back and backtrack on what I said and correct that and say that there is, a lot of the pie comes after that initial sale. Although I guess with that, you're right, that people do realize that they're getting into a subscription. You could argue that that's all considered front sale because people understand what they're getting into. However, on the flip side is if you don't have a good product and you don't deliver, right, and those results aren't there, people will just walk out on you and you won't be able to make all those installments.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And
very
just one
cool.
thing that you mentioned, subscription. Subscription is something that even if you are not in the telehealth, even if you are in the e-commerce or Nutra part, subscription is something that will increase your order value. Okay. But you have to be careful because sometimes people just forget about subscription and they just call the bank and says, oh, it's a fraud or something like this. So when you put subscription on your offer, just be careful because you will have more chargeback. So you have to be more protected with your bank. So just be careful. I tell this to people that is listening. If you want to implement subscription, just be careful because you will have more chargeback and you have to be more protected. So like
Yeah.
it's easy that your Stripe account, PayPal account would be closed just for this, just because you put the subscription. So just be
Yeah,
careful.
that's very important. Yeah, I mean, definitely like in terms of if you have automation flows and with your email service provider, you could send out those pre-warnings to give people a chance to cancel before they actually get charged because you want to stay away from those chargebacks. Yeah. I would like to just pivot to the state of AI and see where we're up to, especially as someone who came into this market and cut their teeth on VSLs and video. In the short time that you've been in the space, I'm sure a lot has changed, especially in the last 6 to 12 months with AI. So how are you adapting with that? What tools are you using? How are you scaling with AI? Yeah, I know there's a lot to unpack there, but let's dive into that a little bit and see where we go.
So just for give an example, when I start, I used to put the subtitles of the ads manually. Okay. I have to write it manually, all the subtitles. And it was, oh my God, it was so boring to do like this. But was the only way to make the subtitle on a video that was nice to have subtitles. Nowadays, okay, already 4 years ago, there is a lot of tools that generate automatically the subtitle, for example. Now, now with the AI, this thing is even more sim- simple. And for example, there is software that automatically cut the video, like analyze the curse word in a podcast and just automatically cut it. So there is a lot of AI tools that simplify the video editing job. Okay, doesn't really completely substitute and video editor. Not yet. Maybe in 3, 5 years, yes.
3 5 years or
But
three
this
five months?
no, no, because no, I think 3 years. You know why? Because I understand your enthusiasm. Okay, because
Well, it's not that
I'm
I'm
the same.
enthusiastic.
I'm
I just
seeing
I
that
just see where the market's going. I'm hearing 3 to 5 years.
no,
You think
no,
it's really going to take that much time?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because for completely don't have any more video editor, yes. Because so far, even if you
Okay.
try to do, for example, the video ads with there is like a lot of skills in Cloud Code that you can use for automatically cut the video. So it's not so difficult. Okay, in 2 hours you can make an ad, or maybe less, a complex ad really. But there is always the human that have to say to the AI what to do. Okay, it's not like I press a button and that's it. So we always need a human person that know what he's doing. So I think that the video editor job is still safe. Like, for example, the copywriter. Okay, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when it was December 2022, when ChatGPT comes, like, oh, was is the death of copywriting. Okay, no, we don't need any more copywriters. Okay, after 4 years, what happened? Yes, you don't need a lot of copywriters, but the good ones are still there. So doesn't really completely go off this job. And the same will happen with the video editing. And the same will happen with the media buyer, any other job, like the IT guy. Now, okay, the
Yeah.
web page guy. Okay. But you still need to have a person that know what he's doing. Okay. So it's not the time to the mass unemployment. Okay. It's not the time yet.
Yeah, well, I don't think that it's going to be mass unemployment. We're definitely going through a wave. We're going to see like a lot of more systems operators in terms of managerial roles. And you said something like, copywriters. We still need copywriters today. I think definitely like
Mhm.
people are able to put out and produce a lot more content, especially with just, people are abandoning their keyboards and they're just like narrating into ChatGPT or other LLMs and typing tools, which just are narration. So you're able to get so much more out. On this podcast, we just had Mike Giannoulis, who actually is able to use voice to prompt a book where it can actually you can become an author by writing a book just by prompting his tool. So there's really some amazing stuff. And I think what we're really going to get at is that copywriter is going to turn into a copy editor, copy monitor, whatever it is, however you want to phrase it,
Is what's
where
happening.
they're going to have to like monitor and manage all the content.
Is exactly what is happening.
Yeah, so we're going to see a lot more companies. So obviously we're going to see companies. I think a lot of companies, especially SMBs, are going to become a little bit smaller. But I think overall there'll be a lot more startups and a lot more people in this space. So it'll be very interesting to see how that comes along.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see these new changes. A lot of people will is changing now. So the pure copywriter doesn't exist anymore. Well, exists, but it's now evolving in copywriter that can do creative also, and also the pure video editor is not. The video editor is need to be capable to write copy, at least acceptable
For
copy,
sure.
not
Yeah,
perfect
basically
one.
get into other areas and become an expert in other areas of marketing and funnel building and just marketing. And it's almost like what we actually spoke about at the top of the podcast is that how you actually did this, right? You were an engineer, and then all of a sudden you came into the world of direct response marketing. So this might be like a very challenging and stressful time for like a lot of people in our space, right? Let's be honest. So why don't we just finish out, with just give a few pointers and stuff as people might have to start pivoting and changing directions and learning more skills and stuff. What would you say to them, in terms of how to go about it and some words of encouragement?
It's very important. It's very important to understand that the world is evolving very fast, and you cannot be stuck to I know I study a lot of year for this profession and will be always job for me. No, no, don't. You have to adapt to the tools that is existing, and you have to learn new skills constantly. You don't have to be like proud and say, I'm the video editor, I'm the copywriter, I'm the engineer. You have to learn new skills. So, for example, also the video editor need to be a web designer, for example. Okay, or have to have some media buyer skills. So you need to know how to handle a campaign. So you have to learn. You have to be an overall. all the trade. Jack all of the trade. How you say this?
Jack of all trades, yeah. But you
Yes.
have to be careful because sometimes they say a jack of all trades is a master of none, right? So you do have to
Yeah,
be
also yes.
yeah, it's like almost like a double-edged sword there. You have to be careful how you use it. But yeah, no, that's great advice, and I really appreciate it. I think a lot of people will get a lot out of that, and especially also knowing that we're a lot of us, right? Unless you've retired and sold a startup or whatever, a lot of us we're just all in the same boat. We're just trying to figure this out, and that like learning and stuff is going to be super important to keep pushing your career forward and everything. So I really appreciate those words and also everything else you said. This was really, really insightful. I really appreciate that you came on to the podcast. How can listeners find you?
The best thing is go to Instagram, Gold Angelo F Ferraro. Actually,
Okay.
it's quite curious because my tag is Gold Angel OF. So people at the beginning was thinking that I have an OnlyFans account, but no, actually it's my name and my surname. But when I chose this
Angel,
name was
angel
like
of, angel of gold.
was Gold Angel OF. So people sometimes say, "Oh, well, you have an OnlyFans."
Oh
But
man,
but
that's
when I
really
chose
funny.
this name
You got to be
was
careful,
like
right?
yes, but when I chose this name was like 2020. Actually, was the period of the COVID. So I think that even OnlyFans doesn't exist. So at that time, but
That's
yeah,
really Yeah, awesome. That's really funny. So, everyone who's listening, I'll put a link to Angelo's Instagram page in the show notes. So, go check that out. Give his page a follow, give him a thumbs up, like, whatever. And make sure you do that for this podcast as well. It really, really helps us grow and spread the word. So, Angelo, thank you so much for coming on again. I
thank you
really
so much.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and see you next time.
Awesome. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you. Bye bye. Thanks for listening to the Built to Scale podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a conversation about what it really takes to build and scale in today's market. For more information about Built to Scale and how we help companies grow, visit builttoscale.co. If you have suggestions for future guests or topics, send us a note at podcast@builttoscale.co. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, this is your host, Shmuel Hirschberg. And remember to keep building, keep testing, and keep scaling.